Likewise, we have from the statement of Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, in his fatwa, he uses a word that ruling by other than what Allah has revealed is أَن يَسْتَبْدِلَ الْحَاكِمِ. So he uses the word istibdal, that a ruler changes a law. Then he goes on to explain that this in itself will have three manifestations. Either he did it while he believed that the other laws are better and superior to Islam, in which case he's a kafir, or he did it because the person with respect to whom he's judging, he doesn't like him, so he wants to impose some damage on him. Yeah? So he doesn't judge according to the truth. So this one's a dhalim, or the one who's got wants some material gain or something, and then such one is a fasik. So Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen makes the same distinction. And likewise, we have a fatwa from Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen, which is in the book Fitnatul Takfir, and there the question is put to him. He says, and it's important to listen to this, he says, there is a doubt with many of the youth, which has become firmly grounded in their minds. And this issue of doing khuruj against the rulers, that they have become affected by this. And this is because they say, now listen, Ibn Uthaymeen is saying, that those rulers are MUBADDILOON. So he's saying that this is what the youth say. And they have imposed rules from themselves. And they have not ruled by what Allah has revealed. And this rule is present. However, they have put rules from themselves and imposed them. So then they judged that these are apostates. And then, built upon this, they said that because they are kafir, we have to fight them. And then, and we don't need to look, the fact that we're in a weak position and it doesn't matter what else, we have to still fight them, and so on and so forth. So then, he says, the answer to this is that we say, and then Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen explains that it's necessary for us to first of all look that, first of all, has this description of ridda or apostasy applied to them or not? Meaning, this particular action that we're discussing, tabdeel or whatever, is this an action of apostasy which can be ascribed to them or not? And secondly, the second aspect is, in this specific instance, is it the case that this ruling of kufr can be applied to a specific individual? So here Ibn Uthaymeen, hafidhahullah, is affirming the principle of the Salafis in that there are two rules for takfir. The first of all, that we have to look and show that a particular action or saying is actually kufr from the books of the Sunnah, from the book and the Sunnah, and whether it's kufr akbar or kufr asghar. And secondly, once this is established, does it actually apply to a specific individual and a specific situation? He says we have to identify this to begin with. This is different to what the Sururiyya say, because they say وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ مُبَدِّل whatever, kafir, mutlaq. No distinction. So look how the madhab of Ibn Uthaymeen is the madhab of the Salaf, in that they do tafsil and investigate, does this ruling apply to an individual? So he says, for example, sometimes a text can imply that an act is kufr, and that this action is kufr. However, there can be certain barriers which can prevent the ruling of kufr being applied to an individual. Then he gives some examples. He says, for example, the man who said that when I die, burn me, spread my dust in the different parts of the earth, and this itself is kufr in Allah and His Qudrah. So when he was raised by Allah and he said, why did you do this? And he said, because I feed you, and so on and so forth. So what is apparent from this is his statement is kufr. However, there's a barrier which prevents the ruling of kufr being applied to him. Likewise, the man who lost his camel in the desert, upon it was his food and so on and so forth, and then he loses it, and then he's depressed and sad, and all of a sudden it comes back to him. So he says, Allahumma anta abdi wa ana rabbuk. So he says, Allah, you are my servant, and I'm your Lord. This is a statement of kufr, but he was compelled to say this. He was overcome. Ghalaba. Okay? So again, the ruling will not apply to him. So notice how Ibn Uthaymeen, from this, is very clear that the action in itself, Ibn Uthaymeen does not consider that to be kufr. Okay? Automatic kufr. Ibn Uthaymeen does not consider that. That's not his position. Rather, he applies the same principle of the Salaf, that we need to investigate to see whether, whether the ruling applies to him or not. Okay? The removal, is he persistent upon that? Is it istihla, and so on and so forth. So again, this goes back to the affirmed principle of the Salafis, that kufr is of two types with respect to al-Hukmu bighayri ma anzalallah, one which is with istihlal, juhud, and one which is other than that. I think there's plenty more on this tabdeel, but to be concise, there's so much more which is in refutation of tabdeel. There's so many statements of the scholars who explain what tabdeel is. Al-Jassas, another one, the ulama of the language. I haven't got time to go through all these, but the fact is it's all present and it's there, and it's from the fatwa of the ulama.